a couple of days ago, we had another ordination, and Ruby became Venerable Damcha. And so this is really something to rejoice at the Abbey, because, you know, we always rejoice when people decide to become monastics, because they're living in pure ethical conduct and they're devoting their life to the Dharma, and by their practice of purification, accumulation of merit, listening to teachings, meditating on the teachings and integrating them with their mind, then everybody benefits. Yeah, everybody benefits. Some of us benefit in the short term, some people benefit in the long term, but it's only something beneficial. Now, what I discovered when I was in Singapore, is that, you know, among people in the Buddhist community, people love the monastics, and they're so happy to have monastics and support monastics and so on, but they don't want their own sons and daughters to become monastics. And if their own children want to ordain, they go, this shouldn't happen. But they want to have monks and nuns. Okay, so something is not in a line there, right? It's a little bit not reasonable way of thinking. Yeah, because I think often parents, they're just looking for the benefit of this life, and they think, oh, but you know, if my child ordains, then they won't take care of me when I'm old, they won't support me when I'm old. You know, what are my friends going to say when I don't have any grandchildren from that child? You know, and so they want their child to get married, continue the family name, yeah, give them grandchildren, have a good high-paying job that then they can brag to all their friends about, yeah, and they want other people's children to become monks and nuns. But this isn't realizing the value of having monastics in your own family, and how if your child ordains, it is indicative of what a good upbringing you gave them. Yeah, because your child has a real sense and feeling for ethical conduct. You know, so much so that they want to take precepts about it. Now, where did their initial instruction about ethical conduct come from? From their parents. Yeah, so their parents taught them well. They're doing what their parents taught them. So the parents should be very pleased. You know, I taught my children good ethical conduct, and now they're really doing it. Yeah. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, they don't make as much money, but they're not getting involved in illegal business deals. They're not lying and cheating about money. They're not deceiving other people. And they're doing something really good for the world. Yeah? And so parents should rejoice when that's happening. In the same way, you know, parents, when they're young, they teach their kids to have loving kindness, and to be generous and to be compassionate towards others. Well, your child wanting to ordain, again, is indicative of you're teaching them very well when they were young, because again, they're doing what you taught them, and they're even elaborating on it in such a wonderful way. In the same way, you know, as a parent, when your kids are young, you teach them to be wise, and you teach them to value wisdom and to value learning. And so when they choose to ordain, you know, again, they're following what you taught them, because they're going to learn the Buddhist scriptures, they're going to develop wisdom. Maybe it's not the wisdom of civil engineering, but it's a wisdom that is going to be much more valuable in the long run. Yeah? And then the fact that this, you know, that you raised this child who is now a monastic means that, you know, your child still has that very strong karmic connection with you as a parent. Yeah, so their virtue will, you know, benefit you in this life and then in future lives too, because you have this connection by, you know, your child progressing along the path. When you meet them in a future life, even though you don't recognize them, you know, because of the connection in this life, they will be able to lead you on the path and lead you out of suffering. Yeah? And so that's much more valuable than them giving you babies who cry in the middle of the night. Yeah? Yeah. And as, when we were talking on Sunday about it and our parents' reaction to ordination, and I think it was Venerable Chuni who pointed out that, there were several kids in her family, and the kids gave her parents headaches, and now the grandkids are giving her mother a headache, because they're all in crisis and they have this problem and that problem and they're involved in this and that, and so much stuff going on. So when her mother receives a call from any of the other children or the grandchildren, it's like, okay, what is it now? But whenever she receives a call from Venerable Chuni, she knows that she's going to have a good conversation, and nobody, Venerable Chuni isn't going to complain to her about anything or say, I need help or I need money for this and that, that she's always guaranteed a pleasant conversation with that child. Yeah, so if you think about it that way, you really, get a lot out of it now. So parents should rejoice when their children want to ordain.